Well, welcome to another bullshit session with me and Jerry. Jerry,
What's up, man? How you
what's
doing?
up? Usually you're on that side.
Yeah. And we have another special guest.
Yeah, go ahead and mention him. He's right up
We
there
got
in the
Chris
corner.
Elio. You know how to pronounce it? Elio or Elio?
It is pronounced Elio, although
Okay.
when I was a child, no one ever gave me a straight answer, even in my own family. So when my teachers would ask me, is it Elio or Elio? I would just go, yeah, whatever you want to call me, baby. Like,
All right, you got a couple of things you need to plug. Podcast, YouTube channel.
well, I do. I have a monthly radio show called Progtology 101, which is a progressive music based music show where I basically talk shit all day and then play music in between. So that's on a station called iskcrocks.com. So that's usually the last Thursday and Friday of every month. So, and then it podcasts. So if you just look up Progtology 101 with a G, not proctology, because I don't examine assholes unless you happen to be one. Right, Mark? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey, I
And
was an
then-
asshole sometimes.
No, this
You know.
happens.
YouTube
This
are
happens on
classics,
your,
man.
and it's
YouTube
not
are
just you. It's
classics.
on your page all the time too. So we'll get to that in a minute. But and then the thing I'm putting my full life force into these days is I have a YouTube channel called Redbeard Videos, which is simply Redbeard Videos. And if you type that, I'm at a point now where if you type in Redbeard Videos into the search, I'll be the first thing that comes up. So that's
And
an
I've watched
accomplishment.
that. I haven't watched every one of them, man. It's a good show. I like it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
thank you,
good.
Jerry. I
watched it
appreciate
too.
that, man.
Especially
you.
talking about the guy telling you you're a pussy because you don't put beard. You put beard oil.
Yeah, what the hell is that about? Fucking goobers.
I put
Fucking
beard
rednecks.
oil in my fucking beard too because it gets all fucking stink.
Well, this
Shit.
guy, okay, so for those of you who don't watch my channel, and I assume that if you're watching this, you are immediately going to shut this off as soon as this podcast is over, because don't leave this podcast to go and check out my stuff, but go and then go check out my stuff. But I do a show called Quick Takes, and I had these two guys. They kind of came at me from two angles on my page last week, and they're like, "Yo, dude," all it said at first was, one guy tagged another, then the other guy said, "Oh, that's laughable." So then I responded, I'm like, "What's laughable? Like, what's the joke, guys? Let me in on it. I love it. I love jokes." And then the guy private messages me and he goes, "Dude, you're the joke." I'm like, "I'm the joke? Explain it to me. I love a good joke about me. I love that." And then it just went from there. And he's like, "Oh, let me ask you this. Do you use beard oil?" That's my tough guy who rubs dirt on his in his beard voice. "Do you use beard oil?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." "Well, see, that's why you're a joke, man. You got to raw dog the beard." I'm like, "Raw dog the beard?" And he's like, "Yeah, my friends call me Gustav Barbarossa." So of course I had to look it up because I thought it was Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean at first, which is a fugly looking beard. I don't know if
Barbasol,
you've seen-
right?
No, it's some fucking Viking dude. But
Oh.
like he was filthy. He was filthy. And then here's the comedy. This is the best comedy. I go look at this guy's Facebook page. He doesn't even have a fucking beard. He's completely clean shaven on his page. I'm like, who the fuck is this clown? And then the other guy who and then the other guy who tag teamed me, he has tattoos on his face. So that tells you what we're dealing with. And I don't judge books by their cover, but come on, man. Don't come at me with tattoos on your face and tell me putting beard oil in my face is a wrong move. I mean, come on. Come on.
That's hilarious, man.
So yeah. This is the type of hilarity you could find on Redbeard Videos. There you go. Enough about
All
me.
right, there you go. What do
Enough
you
about
guys
me.
think of the Super Bowl in general? Commercials? I know you two seem to like the halftime show. I tend to have a different opinion on it, but
Well, I like the halftime show, and I heard Rudy Sarzo was playing bass in the background. So
I
what's
heard
wrong
that
with
too. That was kind of interesting.
He Facebooked it. Says it was great playing with you last night.
Wait,
the
Rudy
weekend.
Sarzo?
Yeah, he played
Yeah, I heard
bass.
that too.
Why does that not surprise me? Rudy Sarzo plays bass for everyone. I think I was in a band with Rudy Sarzo for a second.
I know, isn't he? White Snake, fucking everything.
Everyone. No. You can't name them all. You'll be here all night.
I know.
Quiet
I
Riot,
love
White
Rudy.
Snake, Docking, Queensryche. I mean, come on, he's played with everybody.
I love Rudy and everything, but I could not stand him in White Snake, man. I just bothered the hell out of me in White Snake.
He's always licking his
guitar. I know that was.
I'd say he's always licking his thumb. He's licking his guitar.
Yeah,
How has his
I
tongue
think,
not caught cancer yet?
Well, I think girls liked him, so he probably gave him a couple thrills.
Well, you know, he looks like their mom, so that's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but besides the halftime show, I've been laughing at the Chiefs fans because they played my team last year. We had a lead. They came back in 7 minutes and beat us. The thing is, me and you, Jerry, were complaining how mugged our wide receivers and Kittle was getting trying to get into the routes, and in Kansas City gets called for all that shit.
In all fairness, there were some actual legitimate holding and pass interference calls by it. A couple of them were kind of iffy, I know, but
they didn't get called last year.
I agree. Hey,
The Kansas City,
on it. You can't do nothing about it. Get pissed off.
The Kansas City secondary guy, like most of the calls I saw were legitimate. I had no problem with the refereeing. A lot of fans had problems with the refereeing. They're just trying to give Tom Brady the title. Shut up! Enough. If this
what happened was you have an experienced quarterback that just beat the crap out of a cocky,
Tyrann Mayhew.
In my opinion,
fuck that guy.
He's great. No, Matthew's
great, but he's a jerk though.
They're all jerks, man. They have to be. Look, and I'm never surprised when a professional athlete or a professional musician or an actor or an actress are assholes. Like, never, because they have to be. You have to think you're the best at what you do in order to go out and be one of those top people to play that sport. Like, to be a quarterback in the NFL, you have to think that you're the best out of 32 just in your league alone. But I mean, the top 32 players in the world play in the NFL. How many quarterbacks do you think? Like, there's 100 and what? How many colleges in the country? Yeah. D1. That's just 132 quarterbacks that are itching to take your job right there. That's not even including backups in the NFL, people who are in high school right now. I mean, God, the numbers are infinite.
Shit, there's some backups that should not be in the fucking league. What the fuck?
I'm just curious.
Why isn't Kaepernick playing?
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert.
Horrible. Is this second or third one for being a backup with Tom Brady?
Blaine Gabbert's horrifying. I remember
his third title.
Blaine Gabbert was the guy who took over for Colin Kaepernick when with the Niners.
Then Cap took it back and then had a good season. Had 18 touchdowns and 2 interceptions playing half the season. Everybody says he wasn't a good quarterback.
Dude, you're a Niners fan. You fucking know. Let me tell you something. I think I've had this conversation with you before, Mark, but let me tell you something about Colin Kaepernick. I remember very clearly being very drunk, and I remember this night, but I was drunk, and I remember when the whole Cap thing broke, and I lived in San Francisco. I lived in San Jose at the time, and I was at a bar, sitting with my friends, and they were all like, Kaepernick, fucking dick, blah, 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 and the whole thing. And I was like, I'm like, you don't want him. I'll take him. As a Jets fan at the time, it's like, I'll take him. My quarterback, I believe, was, oh God, I forgot his name now.
Sanchez?
Guy out of,
no, it was a black guy.
I thought it was a butt fumble guy.
Ryan Leftwich? I don't know.
No. Crap. Anyway, continue. I think he was an Auburn quarterback. It's not Cam Newton, but it was someone else.
Yeah.
I forget. I'd have to look it up. But and I'm not going to look it up now. It wasn't anybody great. Let's just put it that way. He wasn't good, and we weren't winning. But we were like a piece or two away. We weren't that far off like we are now. And I was like, I'll take Colin Kaepernick today. I'm like, right now, send him to my team right now. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'll take him right now, like right now in 2021. Sign him up.
I would too. I'd take him too.
I would take him back.
I've been asking for weeks. I've been asking for years.
I've always said, man, the 49ers are stupid letting him go. He's kneeling, man. Freaking a lot of our vets are okay with it because they fought for that right for what he's doing.
Exactly.
So I've never had a problem with Colin. I just don't like it when he gets all uppity with his shit. I said, you do say what you want, but don't act like he acts like he's better than people sometimes, and I hate that.
Wasn't it a vet that told him to kneel?
Yeah, it was a vet told him to kneel.
No,
But
my best friend.
I would take him in a second.
One of my very best friends is a career Marine. He just retired. He just celebrated his 25th year. He retired. He made his pension, the whole thing, whatever they do. And he says he hates it. You know, he's got a conservative mindset, and he's like, I hate it. I hate when people burn the flag. I hate when people disrespect the flag. I hate when people kneel for the anthem. But that's their right. He's like, and that's what I fought for all these years. Yeah. He fought in all the wars in the 2000s, all of them. He fought for in all of them. And he's like, that's exactly what I was fighting for. He's like, and I may disagree with it, but that's my right. Like, and that's the thing. And I will never call him a piece of shit for that. And I don't think he should have been blackballed. And that's the best answer I've ever heard. And to this day, that's what I use. But it was, I think he's disrespecting vets. Okay. You have no idea what it's like to be an American. And that's what I tell people. And then those people, those conservatives that I tell them to, their head spins around and then they puke green shit. It's awesome. I love it.
It's true. People, I'm a conservative, and they get on. You're a conservative, bro. You don't like America. How could you be conservative and hate America? And I go, because I believe in his right to play. I believe he did.
Because you're smart, Mark. That's why you've become an intelligent person since the day I met you. And I don't know if that's
he would kick ass in Shanahan's offense. I'm sorry, he would fucking rock in his offense.
Well, they have mobility.
They need a quarterback. How do you feel? Hey, Mark, as a Niners fan, how would you feel about giving up a boatload for Deshaun Watson?
Okay, no. I didn't finish reading the article, but they said the Niners, if they did get Deshaun, they're not giving up Bosa. They would probably give up Samuels. They'd probably give up Debo. I think he's the one.
Really? Because I know the Texans want defensive players, not.
Well, they ain't giving up Warner. They ain't giving up Bosa.
I mean, I had heard the last I heard, and this was like last week, so it's been like a while. But I heard they're fine with the draft picks. They were not going to give up two defensive starters. I heard it was either going to be Bosa or Armstead. That's what I heard.
Armstead, I'd be cool if he left.
Yeah, Nick Bosa, not a million years.
Because we got that new guy who got better every game. I forgot his name now.
Kinlaw.
Yeah.
In my opinion, being a Jets fan and never having a good quarterback, because seriously, in my entire lifetime, I've had one, and I was a child. Ken O'Brien was the only good quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. And my Jets team has always won more with great defenses and great pass rush. And when I think about the pass rush that I've had, so I agree with you. I would keep Bosa over a quarterback any day. You can win with Garoppolo. You were close. You were already close with.
I know we can win with Garoppolo. We can. He's a good court. He just needs to stay healthy.
I don't know if he's. Yeah, I think he's injury prone. I don't know if he's a good quarterback. He hasn't stuck around long enough. But I know that. But I know the year that they made the Super Bowl, he did enough not to lose. They had a good enough running game, and their defense was just all world.
Did you see the New Orleans game?
Yeah, Garoppolo won that game for him.
He shot out with Drew Brees, dude, and won.
But, I mean, come on. He had his moments. I mean, I remember a Monday night game where Mark Sanchez threw for over 400 yards against the Cowboys and out-dueled Tony Romo. I mean, come on. So,
Mark Sanchez would be a good quarterback if he ever had a good coach.
He did have a good coach.
He had shit coaches.
He had a good coach
towards the end of his career.
Years. No, he had Rex Ryan for 2 years.
Rex Ryan
was great.
Not a quarterback coach. Talk about a quarterback offensive coach would have helped him.
Couldn't stand his father, but he was a good coach.
The problem the Jets ran into, honestly, is that they couldn't hold on to their pieces. Thomas Jones got too old. Thomas Jones almost ran for 2,000 yards under Rex Ryan. That offensive line, that defense. Do you realize that that New York Jets team was the first team to beat Tom Brady on his home field in the playoffs?
Nice.
Why? Because we exposed Tom Brady. You have to knock him down.
You do.
That's the thing. And the Jets had that linebacker core, and they had that pass rush, and they had Revis Island, and they had Cromartie on the other side, and that's what they needed.
Revis was a beast.
And sadly, that's how that team fell apart, because Revis wanted too much money and Cromartie wanted too much money, and that's what kills it every time.
And then Revis kills it every time. Team, and he wasn't the same player.
He went to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Actually, he went to the Buccaneers first, ironically, and then he went to the.
He was with them the year they beat Seattle, weren't they?
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with the.
I didn't think he retired soon after that.
Which, by the way, I just did a Super Bowl special on Redbeard's video right now. If you want to go see, I ranked my three favorite Super Bowls of all time and my three favorite halftime shows of all time. Oh, And one more side note that isn't self-promotion, but I don't know about Rudy Sarzo being on the halftime show.
Uh-huh.
But I know that my childhood best friend, and he's still one of my best friends, he and his company designed the sets for that Super Bowl show, that halftime
Nice.
show. Yeah, they're a company called 11th Street Workshop. They're based out of New York City, and they're fucking amazing. So that has nothing to do with me other than I'm just proud of my friend.
Well, I'm not going out on a limb here, but in my opinion, Prince, I think, was the best halftime show ever. Sorry.
I'm not going to give away my countdown because just in case people are watching.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say that halftime show makes me cry every time I watch it. So there you go.
Yeah. Prince, like in Tom Petty and Heartbreakers and Springsteen. People say the Who. I wasn't impressed with the Who because frickin' Daltrey's voice is trash that night.
Dude, and the Rolling Stones were atrocious.
Oh, yeah. They were
I have a question
horrible.
for you, Chris. Let me ask you a question. I know it's not
an answer.
You said Metallica would be boring. What do you mean by that?
I mean, they would be boring.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously I disagree with
All
you.
right.
What do you mean?
So I think the deal with a band like Metallica is that you have to be a fan of Metallica in order to get down to Metallica. I don't think you'll see a lot of crossover there. Whereas I think the only rock band, there's only one, because my 20-year-old son and my 18-year-old son, we talk about this type of thing all the time. And my 20-year-old son's a musician. My 18-year-old son is he's not a musician, but he's very much into music. So they know about as much as I do. I downloaded all my shit on them as a child, so on and so forth. So, and we have this conversation, and the only rock band that I think would have a really good halftime show for the Super Bowl right now would be Foo Fighters. They would be the only one, because they're the only one that has a broad crossover appeal where metal, rock, pop people, they have songs for everything. They could play covers really well. They could mesh with pop artists really well. Now, I think Metallica could do something because you have in the past maybe 5 to 7 years or so, you have like Justin Bieber has been singing Metallica songs, Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, like you've had these other artists do things. So if Metallica found a way to bring those guys on, like, and do like some sort of menagerie of pop artists with them, then I think it could be cool. But the bottom line is, if it's just Metallica and you just throw Metallica out there, I just don't think it would fly. I think it would be boring.
That's a good point, because all the metalheads would probably criticize that, you know.
And they would rip them apart.
As soon as they frickin' started doing Enter Sandman, fuck this band, fuck this band.
I could hear it right now. I could hear it already. Fucking so out.
Fucking.
I never heard of this. I never heard of this guy. Who performed this.
The Weeknd?
This
I know
Weeknd.
who he is. I've seen
Is
him.
it a guy? I guess it's a guy, right?
The guy.
You've definitely heard his music. There's no doubt, because you can't escape it. It's somewhere. It's somewhere.
Yeah,
It's either on the radio. It's in
I've
commercials.
never heard. It sounded like one long song to me, in my opinion.
Oh, that last song he did, Blinding Lights, that totally sounds like Aha's Take on Me. And I've always thought that. And then I looked it up, and then people were saying, no, he did not sample Aha. So I was in the ballpark. Because I thought the drum beat was totally Take on Me, and the little keyboards was like a docile part of Take on Me.
His production was cool. The production was cool.
No, I mean, I think also a lot of people, first off, I saw it online a bunch, and every single one of them are nose in the air, too cool for the room, cork sniffing, douchebag, metal rockheads who just can't, they don't see music. They just see what they like. And I'm okay if like Jerry, like you said it best, like you don't like it. That's cool. That's great. But like, I heard people be like, oh, it was horrible. Listen, no, it wasn't. By no metric was that performance horrible. The guy performed well. He sang the fuck out of everything. I don't give a shit who you are. That guy's got an awesome voice, period. If you don't like his music, then you don't like his music. But that guy performed the hell out of that stuff. It's just like, okay, so like, I don't want to bring up politics, but like if you watch the inauguration, Lady Gaga sang the national anthem and she was fucking amazing. And yet somehow, some cork sniffing, nose in the air, douchebag musician was like, she was like slightly pitchy. I'm like, are you fucking high? What is wrong with you? Like, just say you don't like Lady Gaga and shuffle your dumb ass on your way. Like, just stop it already. I fucking can't stand it. Facebook drives me nuts.
You ever hear her sing Zeppelin before? It's amazing.
Gaga, she's amazing at everything she does, honestly.
She's got a video of her singing Black Dog, and it's just
she's a huge
I think it was on
Maiden
Howard
fan,
Stern,
too.
I think. And it was just amazing.
She's a huge Maiden fan too.
She's a huge music fan, and it shows. And it shows. That's why she's awesome. And that's the thing. That's the thing about some of these artists is that if you give them a chance and you stop looking through the lens of, well, they're a pop artist. Like Miley Cyrus is a fucking badass, okay? Do I like her music? No. You will never hear me jamming out to Miley Cyrus. However, I've heard her sing other people's shit, and she fucking rules. Like, it's just the bottom line is when she wants to do something, she'll blow your goddamn head off. Like, that's what it is, and it's amazing.
Head Like a Hole was pretty good with her.
Absolutely.
She's entertaining.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't like her music. I don't. She bores me.
I've been going through this for years. You were on the argument about Sammy and Dave. I'm on that shit. These people from 1986 can't fucking grow up and fucking just say, hey, man, we like Roth better, but if you like Sammy, that's okay. No, if you like Sammy, you're a douchebag and you wear panties and you're a homosexual or something.
I'm actually getting so freaking tired of hearing that.
Jerry, did you even see that shit go down on his page?
Which one?
The Sammy Dave thing that I got into an argument with somebody?
Brian,
a couple days ago, right?
It was like a week ago. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that dude was. I think his name was Don Johnson, wasn't it?
Don Johnson and Brian Morrissey.
That's how I remembered because of the name. Yeah.
His real name is Ted. His real name is Ted Katana. He lost his Facebook. Like
fucking clowns.
You weren't backing down for shit, man.
Well, because I come fact based. Period. Sammy Hagar's written more hits. The part that frustrates me most about that whole thing is that I wasn't even dogging on David Lee Roth. The only thing I did that could possibly seem as somewhat of a slight towards David Lee Roth is that I made the suggestion that Sammy Hagar might have been better for Van Halen. Like I didn't even say it definitively. I just said, hey, Sammy's got some merits. He's a decent performer. He was headlining arenas before he showed up with Van Halen. Like Sammy Hagar actually considered not joining Van Halen because he was enjoying so much success on his own, selling out arenas. Why would he join a group when he's doing his own fucking thing? Like, why? But no, he did it because it seemed interesting to him. And he's a phenomenal guitarist on his own. And
I'm not a Sammy Van Halen fan. I don't really like him with Van Halen, but I'm not going to sit there and call you a douchebag because you like him. I love his solo stuff. I love Montrose.
It wasn't even that. Like, I can't stand like the idea of it goes back to the pop stars too. Don't dog on the guy. Just say you like the DLR stuff better. That's okay. That's okay. I get it. I totally. There's millions of fans across the world that would rather they would have broken up and died in 1984 rather than go forward. Like, I get that. I just like there's a million Kiss fans that would rather never have seen them go forward without Ace and Peter. I get it. I totally get it. Ace Frehley's my favorite part of Kiss. For the longest time, it was Paul Stanley until like I reached the age of reason. And then I understood that Ace Frehley was really the balls of that band. But whatever.
I just can't listen to Paul and Gene talk anymore, man. They just are so full of shit. It's unreal. But
did anybody check out Paul Stanley's Soul Station?
Oh my God, he likes it.
I don't hate it.
It's horrible.
Okay,
it's like auto-tuned.
It's auto-tuned.
Auto-tuned.
I like Sarah Brightman too, so what do you expect? I mean, come on.
Sarah Brightman's amazing. So don't compare Paul Stanley to Sarah Brightman. Are you kidding me? Look, okay, so I don't know, like I know, again, Mark, I've talked to Mark personally more than I think I've ever talked to you, Jerry.
Okay.
So I have the ultimate love-hate relationship with Kiss. I'm doing a whole hour special on Redbeard Videos eventually called Fandom Files, and my first episode is going to be about Kiss because I have the ultimate love-hate relationship with that band. I grew up with them. They were my favorite band in the world until I was like 11, 12 years old, and then Rush took over. And then all of a sudden I became into Brog, and so Rush is my all-time favorite band. But still, to this day, if you held me down and be like, you need to tell me your top 5 bands right now, or I'm stabbing you through the fucking neck, Kiss would be my second favorite band of all time. Like, that's how that would go. Okay. And but I have a love-hate with them. Ever since 2000, I can't stand them. And part of the reason is they did the farewell tour in 2000. I said my goodbyes. I cried in the arena. That's how it ended. I was fine. Then they came back and embarrassed themselves by replacing Ace and Peter with Imposters. That was bad enough. But then Paul Stanley kept going. One of my vocal idols kept going, despite the fact that his voice sounded like dog shit. Okay, so that's where I drew the line. That was it for me. Okay, so to hear him do stuff that's auto-tuned now, that's horrifying. Like, that is just embarrassing. Just stop. Like, just stop. And I understand, and I appreciate that he's trying to do something different other than dress up like a fucking child. Like, I get, like,
didn't hate it.
Years old.
I can't say it sucked. I'm sorry, I just can't.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it is auto-tuned. Like, you have to admit. You have to admit that the guy's voice is shot.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's embarrassing to me. And as an old school Kiss fan, and as someone who idolized Paul Stanley from a vocal and a performance standpoint, it's just hard to watch. It's hard to, it's hard to stand by, especially when I go see Styx. Like, the last time I saw them 3 years ago, Tommy Shaw is the same exact age. And not only does he still sound amazing, but they do not tune down their music at all. Like, not one iota. They still play the music as it's originally recorded.
Dude, I saw Dennis DeYoung on his last tour. The fucking guy can still belt it out.
They sound spot. Tommy Shaw is a fucking god. I have no idea how that guy functions.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's telling me I have 9 minutes left to upgrade to pro. so let's we'll talk, and then I'll just splice 2 videos together, and then we'll start this over. So
hey, whatever.
Yeah, man. So yeah, the thing is about these old crusty guys like from 1986, but there's also old crusty guys in Rush. It's like, I don't listen to anything from Rush after 2112. They fucking suck. Or I don't listen to anything of Rush after Grace Under Pressure. They fucking suck. Wait, the last album was good.
Now, do they say they suck? Or because I don't hear that very often. What I hear from Rush fans is this still respect for their musicianship and for who they are. They just don't like the music. Like, if, like, for example, like I very rarely hear like, Rush sucks. Like, it's almost universally accepted that they don't. Like, on any level. Right. Like, even like the only major criticism I ever hear about Rush is Geddy Lee's voice. That's like the only thing I ever hear criticized on a regular basis is from people who don't like Rush. Is I just can't take that high voice.
I love Geddy's voice. I've never had a problem with it. I like it better since
he never lost a single step either, man.
No.
I mean, he
had a little bit.
He did vocally, but the difference with Rush and with other bands is that they've always been really good at recognizing when they need to shift.
Yeah.
So they started tuning down, or they started not doing stuff. Like, if you ever notice, like, okay, so I've seen Rush in concert 22 times. I've seen every tour since Roll the Bones. And I can tell you, seeing them 22 times since 1991, I've never heard anything pre-2112 except for Working Man. Is literally the only song I've heard. Oh, and By Tor the Snow Dog. That was it. Those were like the 2 songs that I've ever heard pre-2112. They never played anything from Caress of Steel. They've never played anything else from Fly By Night. And they never played anything else from the first album except for they played Finding My Way in like some sort of instrumental medley, but that was about it. Because they recognized, they're like, Geddy's like, I can't sing this anymore. Like, I just can't do it. And they've never played Hemispheres again either, fully. Like, they never played the singing part because it was written too high for him when they wrote it. So
I was scrolling around Facebook and said that him and Alex want to do something musically. Did you guys see that article?
Yeah,
yes, I did.
What would that would sound like Rush or something different? What do you think? I would try to do something different, wouldn't you?
I mean, I think it would sound like Rush just inherently,
I mean, try to change something up, maybe heavier, or I don't know.
But I mean, when you think about it musically, Neil Peart never wrote the music.
He wrote
It
the
was
lyrics,
always
though.
Alex.
Some good ass lyrics. So.
Oh, there were some of the best ever.
Yeah.
Like that to me, Neil Peart's lyrics are the standard by which lyrics should be written. But when it comes to Rush, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson wrote virtually all the music all the time. Now you're not going to find a drummer to play like Neil.
I was going to
Peart.
say that they didn't write them drum lines, man.
Yeah, you might find a reasonable facsimile like a Mike Portnoy, who I know gets a 7-foot erection every time he reads an article that Geddy and Alex are going to write music together because he thinks he's going to get that call. So, I just hope beyond hope, and I can't imagine in any solar system how they would ever go back out and call themselves Rush again. So
Neil Peart have any kids?
He does. I think she's like 9 or 10 years old now, or maybe 11. But apparently she's a drummer. Apparently
you're not going
she's
to see a Jason
already.
Bonham type of thing, huh?
No.
I mean, that would be amazing. That's like the only way I would accept it. But I think she's only like 11 years old.
Okay.
So, and they're like what, 70? So
unless it's like Phil Collins' son, man, that guy could play.
He can't anymore. Oh, his son?
His son plays.
Yeah, Simon is fucking tremendous.
Yeah, Simon's going to
Collins
play
is
in
great.
Genesis. He played on a solo tour when I saw them. I go, man, he sounds just like Phil, if not.
Oh yeah, he's
better.
got his own band, Sound of Contact, which is fantastic.
Nice.
Sound of Contact is really, really good. Really good band.
But now he's in Genesis now too.
Oh yeah, because Phil can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, all those guys. There's a bunch of legacy bands out there. Rick Wakeman's son from Yes. Rick Wakeman, the keyboardist from Yes.
Yeah.
His son is in a band called Headspace. Simon Collins is Sound of Contact. I'm trying to think who else is there. Crap. I don't remember now. I just lost.
There are
all
a
the
few.
rest
I
of
know
them.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of them. I just lost them. I just lost a bunch of them. They all flew right out of my head. But anyway, if you want to get an idea of like, so Geddy Lee has a solo album I'll call from the 90s called My Favorite Headache, which is really, really fantastic. So I would love to see them like, if Alex and Geddy got together and recorded an album together, and then all of Alex Lifeson's solo stuff, which goes under the name of Victor, like that stuff would be great. Like if they went on a tour and did some Victor stuff, did the Geddy Lee My Favorite Headache stuff, and then did some new stuff, like that would be cool. And then maybe sprinkle in a Rush song or two, like for an encore or something, like that would be cool as shit. Like I'd be totally down with that. If those two guys went out, grabbed Mike Portnoy as a drummer or maybe another guitarist or something and just did some other funky shit, like that would be cool. Yeah. I'd be cool with that. I just don't want them going out and being Rush with a new drummer. Like that would drive me bananas. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I'm sure a lot of people would volunteer their services for that.
I have no doubt that, like I said, Mike Portnoy, like right now, Mike Portnoy probably is sleeping in his bed and he probably went up and went like this. like his ear went up and he's like, did someone just say Lee and Lifeson are getting together and doing something? Did they need a drummer?
He goes, fuck winery dogs.
Actually, his new thing right now is Transatlantic just put out a new album, so that's his most current thing right now.
Well, he just did that one album with his buddies from Dream Theater again. Liquid.
Oh, and Liquid Tension. That's coming out too. That's not out yet, but that's coming out. Transatlantic just came out. I think it was last week actually, and he's actually singing lead on the single.
Oh wow.
He sings lead vocal on the single, which is weird. They have 4 singers.
Still a band.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from them in a while.
Oh wow! Well, the last album was awesome.
Yeah, Distance Over Time was pretty good. They had he's
on the podcast. We reviewed that.
Oh, cool! They had a live album come out in November. Distant Scenes Over Time, I think it was called, or Distant Memories. Yeah. It was called Distant Memories, and it's a beautifully shot DVD. But again, it's scenes from a memory complete, which was great to see live again. But I was at the original taping in New York City at Radio City. Why do we need another DVD of this? Like, why? So I can see how much James LaBrie has aged and how his voice is going. Like, is that why? Mm-hmm. Is that what I needed? I didn't need that.
Whoa.
Excuse me. That's for you all out there.
All right, guys.
About Distant Memories.
Let's take a break real quick because I only have a minute to upgrade. So let's take a break and then I'll start it again and then. All right, I gotta go to the restroom anyways. All right. All right, be right back.
All right.
Yep.
I got distracted. I was sitting here watching the bobble-headed Nazi Sean Hannity. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
fucking clown.
You know what? They're all.
I mean, they're all.
clowns.
You beat me to it. Like you literally beat me by 2 seconds. They're all fucking clowns. I mean, some of them are okay, but like, I got to be honest with you. Like, even like CNN and definitely MSNBC, like those people are fucking clowns. But
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, man.
I think Cuomo's the biggest one.
No,
no way.
I think he's all right. I think he's all right, but I'm okay with him. But here's the thing, man. And we can do a political thing if you like, but
Yeah, we're gonna go into politics now.
I think the difference is, even if Cuomo's a clown, what he does is not dangerous. Okay, I just watched a segment. Now, think of all the terrible shit that's going on in this country right now. Lots of terrible shit, right? Fox News, and I go back and forth. I watch all of it, man. I watch all of it. I try and watch all of it
do too.
because I want to be fair. And I watched Tucker Carlson.
Ugh.
Somehow he intercepted ICE documents. I don't know. Like, I find it remarkable that the Supreme Court said that Tucker Carlson is not to be taken seriously, but somehow this guy keeps having stuff land in his lap.
Yeah, and
Like,
people love him.
It's great.
I don't get it.
It's fucking great. Between him and the My Pillow guy, I don't know who to believe.
Man. Yeah, but
and then wait. So, but my thing with Fox News, and the only thing, this is what I'm getting at. So I'm getting into a whole bunch of hyperbole, but honest to God, what really frightens me is I just watched them do a whole like segment about. Now, I didn't know actual news organizations did this, but they actually alluded to the idea that Joe Biden might be a pedophile. They are fucking peddling QAnon shit on Fox News. Sean Hannity. He's peddling Q. Are you joking me? What? That's dangerous. So as much as I admit that CNN and MSNBC, they act like a bunch of buffoons sometimes and they bedwet a lot, okay? What Fox News does is downright dangerous, all right? I think they can be held accountable for what happened on January 6th too, to be honest with you. They're all riling people up. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's scary.
Yeah. QAnon is a bunch of idiots and fucking the Proud Boys and the fucking Wamba Boys, whatever they're calling themselves. Fuck that shit.
The Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah, the Boogaloo Boys. Jerry told me all about these groups. Like, I don't even know who the fuck these people are.
The Boogaloo Boys sounds like a fucking like a Beach Boys concept album.
You can laugh at them, man. They're fucking dangerous, man.
Yeah,
they are dangerous. They're terrorists. They're fucking terrorists. How can Canada label Proud Boys terrorists, but we haven't yet? Like, what the hell?
Well,
I know, Mark, you're not gonna agree with me on this one, but they did start some of those riots and the BLM protests and riots.
I hold them all accountable. I think all these groups that say kill cops and do this should all be terrorist groups. Proud Boys, BLM, fucking whatever they are. Out of fucking.
Okay, but here's the thing, man.
People for Pokemon, I don't care.
As someone who participates in BLM and all of that, I've never ever been to a rally or been to a meeting or been to an organizational, where we're gonna stage a protest or something, where engaging or hurting police was the objective, nor was it the plan. The ones that I've been, now I've never actually been to one where a riot broke out, okay? But the videos that I've seen, like, it's 90% of the time instigated by police. Now, burning down a Target, like charging into a police station, that was a little extreme. Those things happen. I don't condone any of that shit. But at the end of the day, there are people out there drawing comparisons between Black Lives Matter and what happened on January 6th. Now, Mark,
no, I've
noticed that you've stayed far away from all of this on Facebook, and with good reason. you've decided to live a peaceful life. I've done the same. I've more or less. I talk to my friends and I talk to people, and if I'm going to have a debate, it's usually with my voice because I'm not going to spend an entire day typing up novels for people just so they can see one sentence and go, what the fuck did he just say? And take it completely out of context. What is do you draw any comparisons from what happened over the summer to what happened on January 6th at all?
I just think what happened on January 6th was despicable, and fucking the FBI knew about it, Pelosi knew about it, Trump knew about it. Where the fuck was the National Guard?
Well,
it seems like they all wanted to show.
Wait. Stop a second. When you say they knew about it, what do you mean by that? Like,
The
do you
FBI
think they knew about? Do you think they knew about it the same way George W. Bush knew about 9/11 and kind of ignored the warnings, or that they knew like stone cold that they were going to storm the Capitol?
They knew they were going to do something at the Capitol. It's come out. The FBI even released it. They knew 2 weeks ago before that happened. And I'm just going, why wasn't there our troops there? Why wasn't there something protecting? Why did they let this happen? It could have been Trump. It could have been the left. It could have been the right. Could have been the middle. I don't know.
Let me ask you. So then let me ask you this then. So then I have to ask you, because it sounds to me like it would make sense to you if you were to hold President Trump accountable for holding a rally when he knew something like this could happen. See, because Nancy Pelosi was simply doing her job that day, because that's what she had to do. They had to certify the electoral votes. They had to certify the votes.
I don't know. She can't command.
She can't command the military. That's his job.
Mm-hmm.
She can't do that. She can't walk down the hall and go, "Get me the National Guard." That's not her job.
I think Trump just wanted to make a show. I think that he wanted to make a show that day. And I agreed with him until up to the last 2 months when he's acting like a little bitch and he was fucking being a big baby, making all these conspiracy shit. Now, if they come up with it, I kept saying, let him look into it. Let him look into it. I want to see if this is true. I just want to have trust. If Joe Biden won, so be it. I just want to see them. They did, and nothing came out of it. So fucking shut up. Let it go. Salute Biden. Get the fuck out of there like Obama did with you. He was at your fucking inauguration. Stop being a little bitch and get yourself out there.
Be respectful. Do it the right way.
I agreed with most of what Trump did in his office with the freaking border, with freaking tariffing China.
I mean, we can debate policy all day, and that's fine. I mean,
nobody knew he was going to leave peacefully. Nobody knew that. He was going to stir up.
I knew he would leave.
Everybody knew that.
You guys were saying that they're going to have to bring in the National Guard to kick his ass out. I said,
was it that much of a stretch? Think
Huh?
about it, Mark. Think about this for a second. What President Trump right now in this current form, because he's got our own Congress brainwashed. He's got his own party. The Republican Party is fucking brainwashed. I don't know if you watched anything that happened today, but I listened to the entire thing as I was editing a video, right? For Redbeard videos on YouTube. Be sure to check it out. But as I was editing my video, shameless plug, I'm a whore. As I was editing my video, I was watching and listening to this whole thing. And any human being, including Trump's lawyers themselves, said, wow, the impeachment managers did a great job today.
Well, Trump's not very good at organizing
and yet still 46.
Yep.
No, 46, 44 Republican senators still said that it was unconstitutional to try him. So basically what half our senators are saying, Republicans are saying, that January is just a wash. That any president who's not going to be president after January 20th can just do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's what they're saying.
Be careful with presidents, the people that are going to be said here, because it'll come back and kick you in the ass sooner or later.
Yeah, but every time the Democrats put on these show trials, fucking the Russia thing, he didn't do shit with Russia. That was proven. Fucking the FBI.
No, it's not proven. No, it wasn't proven.
The FBI did fake FISA warrants, man. They lied to get FISA warrants.
Dude, they didn't even allow. Okay, we're arguing stuff that doesn't even make sense anymore. But they didn't even allow witnesses. Okay, you mean to tell me, and now be honest with yourself and everyone in front of you right now, that if that trial was put up in front of a group of impartial jurors, like an actual criminal trial, and there wasn't partisan hackery going on across the board, you don't think that Donald Trump looks guilty with the Ukraine call and everything that went on? You don't think he looks guilty?
No, because the calls were taken out of context. They never released the whole transcripts of that call. Donald Trump released his whole transcripts of the call.
No, nobody did. Nobody did. That's the point. Nobody did.
How do we know what happened?
Nobody did. And nobody, because we had witnesses. And then we had other witnesses like John Bolton and other people that we were going to force to testify that Donald Trump blocked. And then he threatened to take them to court forever and ever and ever and ever to make sure that they never spoke. Right? So then by the time John Bolton's book came out, which tells the truth, because if you read that book, Donald Trump looks guilty as sin, period. Now, was it like quote unquote collusion? Maybe not. But a whole bunch of bad shit happened, and that dude should not have been president for the final years of his presidency. However, let's fast forward to now. He is most certainly guilty of incitement of a riot and of what went on January 6th.
I agree with that.
Now, okay, well then there you go. So maybe you can say that the first one was a show trial, but this one definitely is not. This should not be a show trial. This should definitely happen, and he should never be allowed to hold public office ever again. Like that's what's at stake here.
Why can't they just do a vote to block him for public office? Why do they have to impeach him? Why are they wasting this time?
Because they won't. Because the Republicans won't do that.
Well, why? If the Republicans aren't going to vote him out, why are we doing this trial?
Because then at least we're going to get all the facts out.
I think there's a lot of shadiness going on both sides. I don't trust Adam Schiff.
There's always shadiness.
That guy's
there's always shadiness. Look. Let's not misunderstand each other.
Yeah.
All the politicians are corrupt. All of them.
Oh, I know.
I think there's literally, what is there? I can't remember. Is there maybe 700 politicians between the president, the vice president, the administration, the House of Representatives, the Senate, the whole thing, right?
Yep.
So let's say out of 700, 75 to 100 of them are legit humans that want to help people. I can say that. And then out of the 75 to 100, maybe 60% of them are Democrats that want to really help the poor and the downtrodden, and 40% are Republicans because I don't think conservatism really helps people. That's just my personal point of view, and you can disagree with me, and that's fine. That's a debate I can have easy. Like that's because I'm all good with policy. If you come with me with economic stuff and says, well, look at this is, I love those conversations. I'm just tired of this Trump stuff because it's so toxic. And anyone who has paid attention for the past 4 years, like, I don't care what anybody says, like the Russian interference and the Chinese interference and the Iran interference, it happened and it's continuing to happen. All of this toxicity that's going on, the social media, the division between us, that was all the intention. It was never, ever to put Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or any one person in office. It's about what's happening right now. The storming of the Capitol on January 6th was the goal for Russia. Putin, you want to talk about Portnoy's 7-foot erection? Putin had a 27-foot erection the day that our citizens stormed our Capitol. That was the greatest thing. Yeah, because you know that he went to his people and went, see, this is what happens when you give people freedom.
Yeah. That's true. And I believe that, but I also believe that Democrats are in bed with the Russians also. I don't know who to trust anymore. It's like fucking damned if you do, damned if you don't anymore.
Who's in bed with who? Like if they're in bed, here's the thing.
Well, I know Joe Biden's family's in bed with the Russians, with the oligarchs giving his son and his brother money.
Okay, I don't know where that proof is, regardless,
that's actually a banking transaction. You could follow the money. Always follow
regardless
the money.
of that, it doesn't matter. The point that I'm making is that if Joe Biden's family wants to go and get rich because the Russian oligarch, like whatever, like we're not free in this country. Do you really believe we've ever had freedom in this country? Like we were bought and sold a long, long time ago, my man. We're living in a country where we can't even get the right to make $15 an hour. You know how much $15 an hour is? You know what it breaks out to? It's $31,000 a year. You name me 5 places in this country where you can live off of $31,000 a year.
Not here in California.
Nowhere. There's nowhere. I live in an economically depressed area. And I make a decent amount of money, and I still have to work overtime to make shit happen if I want to live a decent life.
Well,
not just get by.
I never argue with the $15 an hour thing. It's just that there has to be a cutoff between how big your business is. If you're a small business and only employ this many people, come on, don't force that on them. They have so much overhead.
Right. That's not what I'm
talking about. Walmart.
I'm not even looking to argue the point of
Amazon pays $15 an hour.
No, they really don't. They really don't.
Yeah, they offered me jobs for $15 an hour here.
Right, because you live in LA.
Yeah.
Or wherever. Sorry, I didn't know if that was common knowledge.
I live in California.
Okay, well, say that.
There might be some retaliation coming for my family. I don't know.
As someone who lived in California, I identify $15 an hour is the standard low in California, and you can't live off that. There's just no way.
Too, so
I'm a guy who.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Mark.
I was making $18 an hour with a house, and my ex-wife left. So I didn't get her half the payment. I had to rent out 2 rooms to pay the mortgage on that fucking house. I had to live with some assholes so I could pay for my house.
I owned my own business and I made over $100,000 a year, and I was broke as fuck.
Yeah,
it was laughable. It was laughable. But that's not even the point that I'm arguing here. The point that I'm arguing is that the corporations own us. We all want to say things like, oh, well, slavery was abolished decades ago, hundreds of years ago. No, it wasn't. We're living in a slave state now.
We're all indentured servants.
And it goes even further. Like, white people are slaves too, but black people are way more slaves. People of color are way more slaves. The prison system and the whole thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is like I'm on my socialist manifesto right now on your very program here. You're giving me the soapbox, and that's what it is. But the bottom line is that like this type of thing that happened, that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, what makes it even worse is that it wasn't even good reasons.
No,
it was just a bunch of petulant white people who didn't like that their guy lost.
There was other races there too. Don't ever all say it's
not
white.
A lot.
There was some Asians and some blacks inside the Capitol.
Let me say this real quick. Did you remember the woman that wanted to take it to her Mexican vacation? She was arrested.
Idiot. Yeah.
They granted her that.
Oh my God.
Oh, and what about the Viking helmet guy?
The Viking guy with the organic food.
Yeah, he got the organic food.
Yeah, but white privilege is not a thing in this country. I mean, come on. I mean,
what the hell?
It's a joke. It's a joke. But I don't even want to get. I don't even want to go down those avenues. I'm just the thing that finds to me that makes January 6th so egregious is the fact that it was just people stomping around being pissed because their team lost.
Basically, yeah.
So
it's grotesque.
You brought up the prison system. So here in California, we have a new DEA, George Gascon. He's a total progressive socialist, but he is not for the victims of crime. He is for the criminals. This man shot my mom, my mother-in-law, and my wife's brother in cold blood at a party. Just shot. Killed 2 people that day. He's been in jail for 30 years, but Jerry Brown made a bill, something, AB something, that if a kid did a crime before the age of 18, he's not considered an adult, even if you charge him as an adult. This guy was 3 hours before turning 18. Don't tell me he's not an adult. I even saw the hearing. I was here, the pro hearing on Zoom, watching it. He said that he got the gun, and he knew when he got the gun, he was going to have to shoot people. He's going to have to kill people. He knew why he was going there. to show the gang that he's okay because he was gone for a month because his parents made him get a job. This
Right.
guy was raised in a middle-class African-American home. He even said his parents were well off. They had money, but he went to a gang because they were never home because they were working. You know, I'm a single kid. My mom didn't come home till like 7 o'clock at night. I made my own dinner. I came home from school. I didn't
Right.
go out. I was bullied incessantly at school. I didn't use that as an excuse to go kill people or to be in a gang or do this or do that. This guy, when he got in the office, he took assistant DAs away from parole hearings. If it happened in the county, they don't send any advocates up for my family to call his bullshit out. He had a lawyer. He had an advocate. We couldn't even ask him questions to say, hey, you're wrong. You didn't do that. You didn't say that last time. My wife had it all written down. They would not let us confront him or ask him those questions. And they didn't send a DA. Even Gascon's office called my wife and said, we're sorry, we can't send a DA there. Even his own assistant DAs have sued him because of the three-strike law. They sued him because they have to go in there and say, well, he doesn't have to charge him at 3 strikes, but he can't say this isn't a 3-strike case. California law, and he's like telling his DAs to go against it, and he's going to countersue or whatever. This guy is a piece of shit. He ruined San Francisco, and now he's a 30-year-old cop veteran, and he's fucking over my family right now because he won't help us. We've been on the news.
Yet?
Huh?
Has he been released yet?
He's got 120 days. Governor Newsom can change it, or something else can change it, but he's got 120 days.
So I have a better understanding. So you're talking about the DA. His name is Gascon.
Yes.
So he's the district attorney for San Francisco.
Last time he used to be up there at San Francisco. He fucked him and Newsom fucked that city up.
Right. Well, I don't know if that's what happened, but because I don't know this Gascon at all. But so Gascon himself is in prison right now, or
no? Gascon.
No, there's a kid in prison.
There's a kid who shot my wife's brother 30 years ago.
Gotcha. Okay.
Double murder. He killed 2 people that night, but he was 3 hours before he turned 18. So now Jerry Brown's law made it where he could get parole earlier now because he was under 18.
But that was 30 years. But it was 30 years ago.
Yes, he should still.
So he's been in prison for 30 years.
Yes.
So if the guy, so the guy's been in prison for 30 years. Has he been a good guy in prison for 30 years?
He has, but the thing is, we don't know that. He's been in there.
Well, I don't. Yes, you're right. That's why I asked you.
I don't. But the thing is, he killed 2 people. He should not be able to be released. It's different if you sold drugs. Yeah, release them, man. Release them. But if you're killing somebody or you're a pedophile, he's even letting pedophiles out, dude. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, I look at it this way. What's the point? Like, I'm not for the death penalty. I'm not pro death penalty at all. Okay. And I think, I have very interesting views when it comes to sexual abuse, especially when it comes to rape and pedophilia. These are things that are mental illnesses and they're hard to overcome, right? So a prison system for either one of those is not correct. Now, should they be in a hospital for the rest of their life? Sure. I don't think a pedophile is something that you just like can rehab. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Now I'm going to claim ignorance on this to a degree because I'm not 100% sure. But part of me wants to have compassion for someone, especially if they show remorse. Now, I take this one guy. Now, you got to remember something. I'm going to ask a very important question here. This kid that killed your brother-in-law. Brother-in-law?
He would have been my brother-in-law, yeah.
Okay.
I never got to meet him.
So this kid who killed your brother-in-law, black, white, Latino?
Black.
So, you're going to hate this, Mark. But comparing the fact that you grew up and were able to function despite the fact that your parents left you home alone a lot, did all that stuff on your own, and a black kid, and I don't know where you both grew up, Maybe you
Well, I
grew up in
just
the
told
same
you he
place.
was middle class. He was fine. He even said he was from a nice neighborhood and a
But
middle class neighborhood.
okay, so a middle class kid from a nice neighborhood who's black, probably one of the few. I'm just gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess, and I'm gonna put it out there. 30 years ago, 1990s, not a lot of black people in nice, middle class neighborhoods. Let's be real. I lived in a middle class neighborhood too. I knew one black kid. There was one black kid. There was one Latino girl, Latina, and that was it. And the rest of us were white. Every one of us.
My area
So,
was like mixture of black, white,
right.
Asians, and
Did you grow up in California?
yes.
So you were a little more diverse. I grew up on Long Island, right outside of New York City. New York City was very diverse, but where I was, it was primarily white, right? So let's just pretend that this kid's neighborhood was just like the rest of America, and more than likely the middle class neighborhoods were mostly white because that's what it's like in America, period. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's just factually, statistically true. Okay. So, more than likely, because he didn't have the parental guidance that he would normally have, even though you had the same similar like upbringing, because he's black and because you're white, that plays a part. However, even if you discount that, we're all different people. All right. And that's just the bottom line there. You're different than he is. So his decisions are different than yours. Right. And I would say the same thing for you and the same thing for anybody else, that if anybody, he killed one or two people. I mean, the fact that he killed two people that's what's hanging me up more than anything, is the fact that he killed two people, not just one. If you were to kill just one guy, then I may have been like 30 years.
He shot into a crowd of 200 people to try to get that guy, the one guy that he got.
I mean, usually the sentence is 25 to life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
he got 45 to life.
And usually the sentencing is based on the heinousness of the crime. So randomly, I bet, now I wasn't there, but I bet that their argument when they argued this case was he was just shooting into a crowd and he got this person. And he was aiming for this person, but, he didn't mean to kill him or whatever, right?
Well, he got the person he wanted to kill, and he shot him in the back, and he even said, the person asked me, don't shoot me, don't kill me, don't kill me. And then the guy started running away, and he shot at him in his back. Coward, right. Dude. He's a coward.
No, and I agree. He's a shit person, and he definitely was a shit person at that time. I don't know, man. I'm a fence sitter on this one. I got to be honest with you, and I think it's mostly because I have no emotional stake in it. Yeah. I would look at if it wasn't just being a complete outsider looking at it and saying someone served 30 years in prison and they were a model citizen for 30 years and they can prove that they're a rehabilitated person and they've shown remorse. I don't know.
What I saw at the hearing, he didn't have any remorse. He kept saying sorry to my wife and her mom and the family. But the thing is, he was coached. It was just because he kept stuttering on it. He was totally coached trying to remember what they told him to say. And it didn't come from his heart. And I could even see it. This kid's bullshitting.
I mean, I can't judge that. I didn't.
He's actually my age too.
Yeah, no, and I take your word for it, man. It's like I said, if there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of prerequisites that you have to reach in order to get out of prison after murdering somebody. So
it's a shitty fucking situation, man.
That is a shitty situation.
But the thing is, he should have sent his assistant DA there to question the guy also. It is a parole hearing. He just left us out by ourselves with nothing. We couldn't even.
No, that by itself strikes me as odd because usually you're allowed to have, the victims. Something about the victims in there at the parole.
We were there, but all they could do is read their impact statements of what he caused.
I mean, when did it happen? When did this happen?
1988.
No. The hearing.
A week ago.
Right. So it was during COVID. Was that the reason why they couldn't send somebody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no. Gascon pulled his people. They couldn't go because they could have been on Zoom.
Maybe they had. I mean, I got to be honest with you, and this sounds shitty, but like again, like I think it's because you have a lot of emotional stake in it. You know, there could have been something else going on. I mean, you know, things in California aren't exactly great.
No, his assistant DA called my wife like a month before, said, "We're sorry to inform you, Gascon will not be sending one of us there. We think it's shitty, and we want to be there with you and your family, but we can't do it because Gascon told us not to." And they've even sued him and just won a court case against him. That
maybe the guy's just bad. The guy might just be bad at his job. I mean, that's just a fact.
Oh, he's horrible at his job.
There are people who are bad at there are people that are bad at their jobs.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up. I only have 9 minutes left to record.
Well, let me just wrap by saying I'm sorry that happened to you and your family. You know, and give your best. You know, give my best to your wife regarding that. That's a tough situation, man. And you know, just search your feelings and search your souls, man, and just think about it and just don't hold out. Just don't hold.
I pray for him, and I hope he has a good time. Nothing bad happens to him. That he's really remorseful, but I don't think he is.
Well, yeah, just don't hold out hate towards him. Just let it be. It's over. He served 30 years. That's the majority of his life. You know, he's probably never going to have kids. He's never going to, you know, so there's a lot of things he missed out on that. I mean, it sucks that your brother-in-law
he had a kid and he got shot 9 times in a gang fight. He died while he was in prison.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right, Chris, man. Thanks, man.
That was a somber note.
Yeah.
Power
hey, man. Well, next year, go Niners, go Jets.
Well, I'm sure we'll do another one of these before next year.
Yeah.
Good coach.
I mean, I'm a huge hockey and a baseball fan too. We didn't even get to your Dodgers like absolutely just using my Mets and raping them.
That was Trevor Bauer doing that. Him and his agent. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We just gave them the figures, you know.
I mean,
Trevor Bauer
I gotta be
has always
honest.
been kind of a jerk.
I got to be honest with you, though. I think the Dodgers, unless they win the World Series this year, they're going to regret that contract. But that's just a different story.
It's only like a 1-year contract at a time. They both get opt out after the first, second, third year.
It's 3 years.
Yeah.
And Bauer's literally like just coming off maybe his second good season. Like, I don't know. Like that was a balls move by him to get 33 mil a year, 35 mil a year. I mean, he ain't opting out of that contract because he's not getting more. I can't imagine
unless he has another young year this year. You know, I think that's going to be Walker Buehler, or your guy. The fucking guy always wins it all with.
I was going to say the only reason he won last year is because DeGrom didn't have enough time to catch him. Because DeGrom was hot on his heels, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the season's over.
Yeah.
So.
And then I hear talk that you guys are trying to get Justin Turner again. You guys threw him away. Fuck that. He's staying with us.
We throw away all the good second basemen, man.
The Reds.
All right, guys.
Well, he was a second baseman with the Mets. So.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
He didn't have the beard. He got the beard and he got the magic. Okay.
We threw away Jeff Kent too. So. Yeah.
Oh, that sucked, man. He was a dick he was a dick on our team, though. All right.
He was a borderline Hall of Famer, though. All right. Anyway.
All right, guys.
Peace and love, guys. Take care.
All right, later, guys.